All right, so let's talk about what information you'll need to have on your note card. So for your right triangle note card, you'll need to have some information about the sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so sine is opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse, and then are opposite over adjacent. Okay, so for sine, cosine, and tangent. You could also put on there the SOHCAHTOA, which is the same thing. So SOHCAHTOA. So the sine is the opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is the adjacent over hypotenuse, and the tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so that's for this part. And I like to have a shape there, like a triangle there, so that it can help remind you where the hypotenuse is. It's across from the 90-degree angle, and the opposite side is across from your angle of reference, and the adjacent is next to it. You also might want to put on there the Pythagorean theorem with the reminder that the C is always going to be your hypotenuse. Okay, then I would probably put something on there on how to find an angle using your inverse function. Okay, so and I put an example on here. So you set up your original trigonometric ratio. The tangent of theta is equal to 4 over 13. And then to solve for theta, or to figure out what the angle is, you take the inverse tangent of both sides. So the inverse tangent, and then that'll tell us that that angle is about 17 degrees. Okay, and then for this last part, we have how to solve for a missing side. So you set up your trig ratio, and then you're going to solve for x. And I have two examples, one where the x is on the bottom of your ratio, and then one where x is on the top. Okay, so on this one, when you solve, you'll notice on both of them that you're going to multiply by whatever's on the bottom. Okay, whatever that is on the bottom, whether it's the x or the 12 or a number, doesn't matter. So you multiply both sides by that. And in this case, in this example, that's all you have to do because the x is now isolated. Okay, so that's all that you'd have to end up doing, and it'd be 12 times the tangent of 73. But on this one over here, the x is not isolated once we do that. So the sine of 28 degrees is still just a number. So we just have to divide by that. Okay, because when we have x times something, we just need to undo that, so we have to divide. And then that tells us, once we've done that division, that this one would be about 6.4 units, and that this one would be about 39.25 units. So having an example of when the x is on the bottom and when the x is on the top is very helpful. Okay, one last thing that I would suggest that you have on your note card is that conversion that there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So that if I have a question that says, oh, I'm 2 miles away from something, then I'm going to do 2 times that. And that'll tell me the number of feet. Okay, and so when you do the 2 times the 5,280, that tells us that for 2 miles there are 10,560 feet. I hope that helps you make your note card.